Good conversations. Jalen Brown is a great like singer-songwriter. She's been on VTM actually with her band Evolution of the Groove.
That sounds good. Great name.
It's a good name. Yeah, no, it's a good name. And then Charles Owens has also been on VTM, but he's a super dope saxophone player, teacher, played up in New York and stuff.
We did a thing down at In Your Ear of local Christmas folks, Christmas music with local folks.
Yeah.
God, it was great. That was so cool, man.
It's funny you bring that up because we also interviewed Reese Williams from In Your Ear and Shaco Sessions Live. Yeah,
Reese is good. She's a good girl. She's sharp.
Super sharp. Very passionate about like
all
things Richmond and music.
Yep.
So let's start there.
Okay.
The Breeze Christmas special. Like, I guess we should start with why you jumped in to create a radio station.
Well, first of all, I didn't create it. My best friend, who I met when we were in 9th grade at Meadowbrook High School, we met in band class, and we've been best friends ever since.
That's what happens in band class. Lifelong friendships.
Yeah. So he retired. He had been living in Key Largo, Florida, in the Keys, and he came back to after one too many hurricanes, and he's a music guy. He's like off the scale music guy, and so that's something he always wanted to do. And I said, well, okay, I'll help you with it. So he did 90% of the work, and I showed up.
Put your name on it.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
That's classic. I like that. That's the
great.
Bill Bevins style.
Yeah, yeah. That's my goal, actually. Work less in less amount of time and get paid more for it.
I like that.
Yeah, and not get it done.
How's it working out so far?
I'm still at CBS 6.
Hey, nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. So the Breeze plays everything,
well,
from what I can ascertain.
50 years of soft rock. There's a lot of country in there, a lot of funk, a lot of local folks. About 30% local musicians.
Nice. You have like dedicated blocks of time. I think like was yesterday the first day on Friday afternoons that you had
lunchtime with the locals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So
sick.
that's a solid hour of nothing but local musicians. And but I mean, they're sprinkled through every show. And, it's kind of like what you do, It's like we've been promoting local musicians all our lives. And now we have an actual vehicle where we can do it and do it right and do a lot of it. And there's so many great musicians that have always come through Richmond.
Yeah.
And still do. And, a lot of the folks we play are from my generation. And I've known them all of my lives, but there's a lot of young folks too, like the people we met when we did the Christmas thing at In Your Ear, which was just blow you away good.
Yeah. Had you been to that studio before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
About 40 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, like, did you do work at the studio or just you were invited because you're a cool dude?
Neither.
Oh,
No, I'd been to some recording sessions and done some stuff there. Recorded, the lottery used to use them to do commercials, to do the voiceover work, so I did that. I had worked with Carlos, who was the recording engineer, when Pat Benatar lived in Richmond and made an album, and there was a group of like 200 people that got to go to the recording session, and I was in that group. Wow. And so she cut an album, a live album with about 200 people, and I was there for that. And then right after that, she took off and hit the big time.
Dang.
Yeah,
That's
and
pretty
the album was interesting. The one side of the album was all covers. She did "Respect" by Aretha Franklin.
Nice.
This was the early '70s, so that was still a thing. And the other side was like what they used to call standards. So she did "Can't Help Loving Dat Man" from Porgy and Bess. As like, so a friend of mine, actually my other best friend, ended up being a lighting guy for major acts and stuff, and he was on the road, and I got a call at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning one morning, and it was him, and he says, "Do you still have that Pat Benatar album?" And I went, "Yeah." He said, "Hold on, somebody wants to talk to you." He put Pat Benatar on the phone. She offered me $500 for it because it was awful. She was trying to buy them all up.
Just wanted it off the street?
Yeah.
Dang.
So I said no. So,
Do you still have it?
no, I lost it in a divorce. So anyway.
Dang. Should have sold it for the 500.
Yeah, should have taken it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Now that's pretty cool. Are there any other I guess, interesting listening sessions that you've had over the years that kind of stick out? I mean, because you've been broadcasting and in this business for 53-ish years. Is it 53 years?
Yeah, 53 years.
You've been doing this. You've seen some stuff.
Actually, 53 years next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so first off,
Valentine's Day.
I want to say, I wanted to bring this up.
Yeah.
Bill Bevins.
Yeah.
You're the first person to ever be in my house that has their own official day in Richmond.
I had a day. It was one day.
It was one day. Now, from this
Not
day
every day.
from this day forward, February 14th is Bill Bevins'
Never
day.
mind all that Valentine's stuff.
Nope. No, yeah, that's gone.
Yeah.
So the question is, what does your wife get you every year on Bill Bevins'
Well,
day?
I haven't seen her in a couple of years. A girlfriend.
My bad.
No, it's okay. Valentine's, dude, you're married. Valentine's a girl holiday. I don't get anything.
You should get something. I mean, you had a day named after you. Like, I don't have a day in Richmond, and it definitely doesn't happen to be
Give it another
Valentine's.
50 years. You're just getting started.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. What day did we start this? I don't remember. It's all good. But going back, I want to go all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
And we touched on being at TVR. You're still at TVR. You're still at CBS 6.
Yeah.
You started there very early in the Peanut Gallery as a child.
Yes.
So, like, from the very beginning, you've kind of been surrounded by TV cameras.
I wanted to be a musician. That
Okay.
was the plan. And I played in bands. I was in high school. I was in the marching band and the concert band. I was drum major my senior year. I played in dance bands from the time I was like 16 on, and the band I was in was from this neighborhood. It was all white kids playing soul music.
That's how it goes sometimes.
It was the 60s.
Yeah.
It was the 60s, and so that was our thing, and I played saxophone, and we had a 4-piece horn section at one point. And we got really good, and we played, we were playing all the time, making real money. And then we got some gigs where we actually played on some touring acts because we had a 4-piece horn section. We all read music. So we would get a gig to be the horn section for whoever was playing in town. So we played on a show with Marvin Gaye. We played on a show with, you probably don't know him, but Jerry Butler, who was another big 60s guy.
Yeah.
We played on
The
Iceman. The Iceman cometh, yes. He was so cool, they called him the Iceman. And we played with Patti LaBelle. I played, just bunches of folks.
So, like, you backed them up as a horn
We were the horn section, yeah.
So, like, what kind of music or what songs were you playing with Marvin Gaye and Patti LaBelle? I mean,
Whatever they was on their playlist. With Marvin Gaye, it was Tammy Terrell when he was doing the duets thing, and that was Tammy Terrell. And then when we played at the old Richmond Arena with Patti LaBelle, but it was Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells at that point. Yeah, before it was LaBelle. Yeah. And the headliner, she wasn't a headliner. The headliner was a guy named Cliff Nobles, and he had an instrumental hit called "The Horse."
Not the horse that threw you much later.
Not that one, no.
No.
But yeah, but I've seen everybody pretty much. I mean, if you think about it, if you're in radio and you get to MC shows, And I worked at Light 98 for almost 20 years, and that was the #1 station in town at the time. So we got pretty much everybody. So I got a chance to meet pretty much anybody and everybody that came through. I emceed B.B. King 3 times and had a great experience with B.B. backstage. I wrote down some of the ones.
Do you mind sharing that experience with BB?
my all-time favorite was Ray Charles.
Okay.
So it's early 80s. Ray was playing a private gig. There used to be a place on Broad Street called 2001. Okay. This is in the 80s. And it was where the Buffalo Wild Wings Steinmart shopping center is now. Whole shopping center was a club. It was massive. It was huge. The capacity was 2,000 people. This is in the early 80s. Well, whoever decided to do that had never talked or met anybody that actually worked in a club. Because when you go to the club, you want it elbow to elbow. You want to be in there tight. They put 600 people in it, it was dead. I mean, it was like, this place sucks.
It's tough to feel the energy when there's like, 50 feet between you.
It didn't matter. So they started doing private shows there, and that did a little better. But anyway, Ray was playing like 4 in the afternoon. There was a state teachers convention in Richmond. And so it was full of teachers.
The hippest people we know.
Yeah. Well, it didn't matter. It was Ray Charles. Yeah. So it was 4. I got there too. I'm just going to be there. Not going to be late. Miss my chance to introduce Ray Charles.
Hell no.
So I'm sitting in this like cement, cinder block lined, what looks like a school wall, metal chair, sitting backstage, right off, steps up to the stage right in front of me, sitting there 2 hours. So a guy comes out and says, okay, you don't introduce Ray, you introduce the orchestra and the Raylettes. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So, 10 minutes before the show starts, the band starts coming through. They're all coming through, file up. Raylettes come through, they go up. And I'm sitting there. And door opens, the guy's bringing Ray. And he sets him in a metal chair right beside me. I mean, literally, I'm here, he's there. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and he says, man, are you okay? You're breathing awful heavy. I said, I'm next to Ray Charles, man. I was like, might as well, that was it.
Yeah.
So I told him I had, after, we talked a little bit, I said, Ray, I've got 2 intros worked up for you. He says, okay, cool, let me hear them. So I wrote the first one down because I always get it wrong now. So the first one was, music is love. God is love. Love is blind. Ray Charles is music. Ray Charles is blind. Ray Charles is God. And he went, oh, hell no, man. They'll kill us. You can't say that.
I like the logistical, you followed that through. A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
So he said, no, you can't do that. I said, all right, well, it's all school teachers. So here's the second one.
Okay.
So the second one was, how many teachers here have taught their kids that Columbus came to America to find a shorter trade route to the Indies? I'm like, wrong. Columbus came to America because he knew Ray Charles was going to be here and he wanted to get here early and get a good seat. He said, I like that one. Use that one. So I said, cool. So I said, man, I'm beyond excited. I'm like, I get to be on stage with the Ray Charles Orchestra and introduce Ray Charles. I'm really looking forward to the show. I said, don't get your hopes up. I said, I've had the flu for 4 days and I'm sick as a dog. I'm going to go out and do like 3 songs and tell everybody I'm not feeling good and leave. I'm like, shit. So, dude, you're Ray Charles. Why don't you just cancel the show? He said, I can't cancel a show in Richmond. Really? Why not? the whole band gets laid when we come to Richmond. Yep. So he did the show.
Damn. We had a reputation, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. He said, I'd have a revolution in the band if I canceled this show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that's something I didn't know. I got to dig into that more. Richmond's history as a swinging town, music-wise and non-music-wise.
It was for Ray and his band.
That's awesome. So, who was the funniest person that like you got to interact with over the years that came through Richmond?
Funny. Wow. I had to think about that. I don't know. I don't know any of them were funny, you know, because a lot of times you don't hardly even get to say hello. They just, you know, sometimes the road manager will come out and tell you, you have to say this label and that label. I did a show with Archie Bell and the Drells.
Sick name.
Okay, well, they were a funk band. They hit hits.
Yeah.
The first one was called the Tighten Up. It was a dance thing. All their songs were about different dances.
You have to have instructional songs sometimes.
So that was one of them that was funny, I guess. So Archie actually came up to me and says, you're the disc jockey, you're going to introduce the show? Yes, sir. Okay. It's Archie Bell, Drells. 2 names, 1 band, super show. You got it? Like, yeah, I got it. I can do that. You can do that. The other one that was really weird was I did a show with the Spinners.
Nice.
At the Diamond, where it was Parker Field then. And so they built a stage against the outfield wall.
Like center field out there?
Yeah, dead center field. And the audience just sat on the outfield, you know, on blankets and stuff. And it was at night and everything. But they put a ladder up against the back, and the band, everybody they had a bucket truck to put all the equipment up, but the actual band had to climb the ladder. So they had a little backstage, like a piece of plywood up here you could stand behind and then walk out, right? So the road manager for the Spinners, Atlantic Records, got to say Atlantic Records. Okay, good. And it's the mighty, 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 mighty Spinners. 4 mighties. Not 3, not 5. 4 mighties. Say it. And I went, mighty, 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 mighty. Okay, you don't let them see your hand though. So that was weird, and I did that.
You counted in your pocket. You had a hand in your pocket.
Yeah, you're in a mighty, 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 mighty. Yeah.
Nice.
So that was weird.
That is a little weird.
Yeah.
But still cool.
Yeah.
It
was very cool.
In a music.
And it was a great show. It was a great band, a great show. Yeah.
I kind of want to let people know, like, I met you a few years ago at CBS.
Mm-hmm.
I was working over there for a while. You're still working over there. I met you on the set of Virginia This Morning,
Yep.
Which is hosted by Jessica Null, awesome person.
Wonderful.
But what I noticed about you, besides your hilarious takes on things, was 2 things. One, you allow your personality to come out in interviews, in any kind of like promotional setting. Wherever you're out, you're Bill Bevins. And that comes through. And I think that that's dope. But then also, I really like your curiosity for finding out the origins of things. I used to make fun of you a lot because you do the segment.
Everybody does. I can hear everybody laughing.
Yeah, I know. We knew you could
I can hear y'all. Okay, good.
But like, but your segment, like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
I love that segment because, like, you know, you take little words or phrases that we all kind of just say and don't really understand, and you kind of dig down into where did that come from? I mean, yeah, where did that come from?
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to ask you about your curiosity and your ability to bring that into your broadcast, but also just your personality. Like, it takes a lot of courage to let people know your corny jokes and things like that.
So here's the
No
thing.
disrespect.
So I was talking to my friend Bud from The Breeze. Last night. We had dinner together last night, and we were talking, and he's never been on the radio before. And I said, dude, what you have to do is just relax and say stuff other than that was, here is, you know, introducing the different artists. And I said, look at it like this. You and I grew up in an age where things were so straight that in order to get noticed and being out of the ordinary, all you had to do was wear a pair of red socks. You were radical.
You got red socks
I got
on
red
today.
socks on today. Yeah, still wearing them, same ones.
Radical.
And, radical. But it was that simple. I mean, now kids have to, you know, in order to stand out, if you don't have immense talent, which I didn't. I said before, you know, I was playing in a band. I wanted to be a musician. The only one thing held me back was talent. So I was an okay musician, but I'd see all these fantastic musicians who had to work, you know, at a job and then play music on the side. I'm like, I'm not even half as good as that guy or that girl, so there's no way I'm going to be able to do it. So just find that little thing that does. So back to your point, it's like when I started working there, when I started Virginia This Morning, well, I actually started, when I started was with Cheryl Miller at noon doing the weather. Not a weatherman. They said, just come on and be you.
Yeah, I didn't even know you were allowed to do that. I thought you had to like go to school to be a meteorologist
This
or like.
was like 86 is when I started there.
Okay.
And they sent me to a meteorological thing for a weekend.
You had a weekend's worth of training.
Had a weekend's worth of training.
Right.
And from Penn State, I think, that's where the school is, or was at the time, for meteorologists. So, you know, learn the terms, learn what this thing is, means, what that means, all of that stuff.
High pressure, low pressure.
Right. Wind comes from the west and goes to east, 90%, all of that stuff. So, but the rest of it was, so then, right before the forecast, right before we went on the air, like 10 minutes before, a meteorologist from Penn State would call me and say, all right, I sent you this map, this map, this map, this map. Here's what's happening. Blah, blah, blah. This front's moving in, temperature's going to drop, it's going to rain, blah, blah, blah. Tell you. So I just go out and regurgitate that, but I got to be me.
Yeah.
So the point was I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't be on the news, although I was with Cheryl with the weather, because you had journalists on the news, and they couldn't be goofy or silly,
Right.
or tell a joke or anything. So that kind of was my gig, was to not be in that lane, but to be in this lane over here. And I'm like, well, I can do that. I can be silly. I'm Silly Billy. That's what I do. So that's what I did.
Yeah, no, and looking back at like your early time at CBS, like you give a lot of credit to Cheryl Miller for like teaching you the television side of the business.
You know, Cheryl Miller is like genius level. I mean, that girl, whew, off the scale. The other thing I've never understood, and I've talked to her about it, is she doesn't suffer fools well at all. But she
Yeah, I know. She's talked to us in production sometimes when we've messed things up, and I've been like,
and it doesn't take much of a mess up for her to notice it, because she knows.
She's on top
she's
of
like,
it.
Bing.
She's on top of it.
You said the instead of the. I wrote the. You know, I mean, she is like
on it.
Yeah.
Which is good because it keeps you
Which
on your toes.
doesn't explain how the heck she liked me and supported me. I don't know. I still don't know to this day.
It's because I think you just come in as who you are, like, and that's good.
Well, I have no choice.
Well, that's true.
Okay.
You could try to be somebody else.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Wouldn't work.
A lot of work. I was reading a funny story about you getting you get recognized all over town, I'm sure. Does your voice get recognized more, or your face at this point?
Well, first of all, like I said, I grew up here.
Yeah.
So there's a problem.
So people know you from your childhood.
I mean,
youth.
childhood, to high school, whatever.
Okay. So they definitely know you.
But the problem is I can't remember people. So I don't know whether I actually know them or whether they just saw me on TV or just heard me on the radio.
I can see that.
But you can kind of tell the people that knew me from radio, because that's a real relationship when you're on the radio. And then it was a two-way relationship. They'd call in every day. You know, you'd talk to them. TV, it's very much one way. They saw me, either they like me or they hate me or whatever.
I don't think that many people hate you.
Oh.
Is there like a fan club online for like anti-Bill stuff? It's not.
I did a thing with Cheryl very early on. A couple of things with Cheryl. We did a live broadcast from the Coliseum, outside the Coliseum. It was summertime, and we were doing the noon show. I don't remember why, but there was a festival going on, and we did the show, the noon show, live. There's this homeless guy that's standing back behind the line there where they had all the equipment and everything, and every time Cheryl would do something, he'd applaud. And so then it was time for me to do the weather, and I came on, "Fuck you, Bill, you're a piece of shit!" The cops had to drag him away, man, kicking and
What did you
screaming.
do to this
I don't know. I don't.
Damn.
He loved Cheryl, hated me.
Maybe he was a meteorologist.
you poser.
He was a real meteorologist.
Yeah.
He was like,
got his gig.
just regurgitating shit.
But another thing I did, right after that, we did the Christmas parade. And Cheryl and I were on top of a box truck for the Christmas parade, and it had the Noon Show logo on it. And they put up a railing so, so it wouldn't fall off. And I'm standing like here, and Cheryl's here, and we're going down Broad Street, and I heard like this group, Bill, and I'm like, "Hey, Merry Christmas, how you doing?" "Move, we can't see Cheryl." Like, yeah, okay,
Damn, I got it. We know who
They might have been the children of the guy at the Coliseum, I don't know.
Legacy passes.
Yeah. Hate Bill Bevins.
Hate Bill Bevins.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most of the people in this room like you.
Well,
I'm not going to tell you which ones
Show's
don't.
not over yet.
Yeah.
We got a ways to go. It could turn.
It could.
Yeah.
It could. There's still time.
Yeah.
You are a guy who, when you like something, you share that thing. And I have noticed that you really love cutting the grass and working with cars.
Really? That's where we're going?
Yes, I want to talk about grass cutting.
All right, so here's the deal. I come from a blue-collar family. Like I said, I grew up not far from here.
Richmond,
yeah. I know the correct name of the road that I took over here.
Okay, what is the correct?
Poe White, because that's where I was. I was Poe White.
Yeah.
And so I had to cut grass. But here's the thing. I'm a guy who likes, well, first of all, I work in radio. I've worked in radio all my life. You do it, it's over, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's nothing, right? You go out in the yard, it looks like crap. You spend 45 minutes out there and you stand back and go, "Damn, I did that. Look at that. That looks good." And that's enough for me.
There is a sense of accomplishment when you do. Yeah.
So I can see the real concrete evidence that I actually accomplished something. So that's that.
Okay.
And I don't work on cars.
I thought you had worked on your.
No,
your
my
father's
dad.
car.
I have my dad's pickup truck.
Okay.
I pay people to work on it.
It is a very nice looking truck.
It's cost a lot of money. It's a lot of toys. That's how you can tell I'm divorced.
You have good toys.
Yeah, I have a nice toy. Yeah. So yeah, no, but I can't I can change the oil. That's about it. Change tires. That's it.
I mean, that's more than most people today.
Yeah. Do you want to hear my BB King? I got a Wolf. I wrote down Wolfman Jack, Dick Clark.
Hell
BB
yeah,
King.
let's hear that, please.
Okay. So, disc jockeys. So I'm a disc jockey, and I was doing a live broadcast. I see Willow Lawn's coming up on another anniversary. I don't remember what anniversary it was, but they had Wolfman Jack came in, and they were giving away a 1956 Chevy station wagon, Woody station wagon at Willow Lawn, because they opened in 1956. So it was like 30, 40 years later, right? Mm-hmm. And Wolfman Jack was doing an appearance. So I'm doing a remote broadcast for 2 hours there while Wolfman Jack's emceeing everything. He emceed for like 10 minutes, and he came over and sat down next to me and did the rest of my show with me.
Nice.
Wolfman Jack sitting next to me. And I've got the little program from that was sitting, the program was sitting on the table, and I had him find it and says, "Love you, baby, Wolfman Jack." So I met Wolfman Jack and actually sat there with him for a while. And he passed a couple of years later, and a buddy of mine who worked at the radio station in Nags Head, he was actually from eastern North Carolina. And so he was buried. They had a ceremony in Podunk, North Carolina.
I know that town.
Yeah, and there was only 20 people there. And they had a boombox sitting on the headstone playing Wolfman Jack Air Checks, which I thought was fantastic. That was so him.
Yeah.
The other, almost like I thought my career was over, Dick Clark came through in the 80s, and he was doing his Cavalcade of Stars, where he had all these 60s stars, and they did a kind of nostalgia show.
Where was it? Was it like at the Coliseum?
It was at Busch Gardens.
Oh, okay.
And they had that little amphitheater at Busch Gardens. So they had all these 60s acts. And so went backstage, met Dick Clark, which like I got the picture, you know, Dick Clark, the most famous disc jockey of all time, right? And so he says, all right, here's the deal. I'm going to come out and introduce the show. Then you do the 3 or 4 acts in between. And then the guy named Lynn Barry was the headliner. And he had like 4 hits. And he was like this Italian kid from Jersey or whatever. He sang falsetto, right?
Nice.
And so he was the headliner. And so I'll come out and do Lynn Barry. Okay, all right.
Okay.
So everything's going fine. It's hot as hell. It's summertime doing the shows. So the next to last act, Lynn Barry's coming up in like 20 minutes. Next act, I introduce him. Look over, Lynn Barry is bent over, throwing up beside the stage, and then sits down and almost passes out. He's just white as, he's just gone, man, right?
No performance coming from that.
Right, which means this group is going to be the last act. And I'm thinking, shit, Dick's got to come out here. Dick Clark's got to come out here. So I went backstage, ran down the hall to his dressing room, and knocked on the door, and nobody answered. I knocked on the door, and nobody answered. He's got to get out there. So I opened the door. Dick was standing behind the door, and I knocked him down. So I just knocked out the most famous disc jockey in history. And he was a little guy. He was like 5'6", 5'7".
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. He was not big at all. And he's on the floor.
Sprawled out,
Yeah.
laying there.
What the hell? Fortunately, I didn't knock him out or anything. He just had his hand out and like pushed him in. Anyway, he was nice as could be. I told him, Lynn Barry's sick, man. He's throwing up. He looks like he's going to pass out. The show's going to be over. Okay, thanks for coming to get me. Nice as could be.
And he went out there and just
Yeah, did
told
it.
everybody
Yeah.
that was it.
Didn't tell him the local disc jockey tried to kill me. Yeah.
That was very nice of
Yeah.
him. You know what I mean? You gotta appreciate when people don't call you out like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But it was Dick Clark.
It is Dick Clark. Yeah, yeah. You don't want to hit that guy with a
No,
door. That's
no,
for sure. And then you said BB King.
Yep. I got to BB. I did BB King 3 different times.
See, now that's wild to me.
Yeah.
That's
So the first time was at the old mosque, which is Altria.
Altria.
Yeah, Altria now. So I don't know if you've been backstage there or not, but it's
yeah. I'm not as cool as you, Bill Bevins.
It's old, okay? But right next to the stage, there's probably a 10 by 12 room right next to the stage, and that's the dressing room. So I'm there an hour and a half early. Band comes in, does a sound check. BB shows up like an hour before the show, which was kind of weird, you know. And he goes and says, how you doing? He goes in, he walks in the dressing room. I'm standing outside. About half an hour later, he came out because there was no bathroom in there. He came out to go to the bathroom. He says, you work here? I said, no, sir, I'm with the radio station. I'm going to be the MC. Oh, okay, cool. Introduces himself, blah, blah, blah. I said, have you eaten? No, sir. Well, I've seen people going in with food and everything,
Yeah.
right? Well, it's a caterer, whatever. I go in, and there's like all this spread laid out, and it's all like home cooking. Turns out, when B.B. King came to Richmond, and he started coming in the late 40s, there was no place for him and his band to stay. So they stayed with this family in Church Hill. Okay?
Yeah, right.
So that was the people that brought the food. They were the children of the people he had stayed with in the 40s. Same family. He was still staying at that same house, but it was like their children were adults now, and they stayed, BB stayed at the house with them. And he stayed there every time he came to Richmond because.
Wow.
And so that was kind of cool to hear that you know, negative effect of not having any place to stay.
Sure.
And all the love he got from this family, and they became like family to him. And then I got to introduce him 2 more times. I did the first time, when I first started doing a B.B. King show, the audience was all white. It was like the weirdest thing. It's like, huh. Because it wasn't hip at that time, even in the blues, I guess, you know. So later on, it kind of switched and got back to, you know, it's like mixed audience, mostly black folks. And so when I walked out the last time, and it's like, I walked out and said, I know what you're thinking. What's the white guy doing introducing B.B. King? First of all, I'm not white, I'm blue. And so it was like, well, and then we were fine then, and he loved it. So it was cool.
Did you get to eat with BB King
Yeah.
all three times?
No, just the one time.
Just the one time?
Just the one time.
Like, I remember you. Come on back.
No,
that's
that was awkward. I mean, it's kind of when you meet people like that, after you tell them you love their stuff and you're a fan and you got all their stuff and it's like, I'm not a musician. What do we talk about?
Yeah.
You talk to musicians all the time. It's a different situation.
It is, but when you come to somebody in like the fan mode, sometimes I think it can kind of like block you from actually making a good connection because you're like, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was just like me blubbering when Ray Charles was sitting there.
Right, because like a normal person is like, I can carry on a conversation. We'll just talk about like the weather, but because I have an experience or like I love your music, or I want to tell you that.
Changed my life.
That's all that's on my brain right now. I'm not going to talk about the
weather.
weather
That forever.
Yeah, and then you come away and you're like, I should have just said normal things.
Are you tired of boring accounting training? Join the revolution. Ignited by Gap Dynamics, The Revolution is a learning platform that brings together engaging content and motivated learners in an online environment. Our accountants and learning specialists make training fun and engaging, and with over 130 CPE-eligible courses in US GAAP, IFRS, audit, and industry-specific guidance, not only is our training engaging, but it is also relevant. So you'll never have to sit in a boring webinar to earn your CPE. We've been training accountants for the past 20 years, with clients from the Big Four to regional firms. Whether you represent a large multinational corporation, a small regional firm, or an individual CPA, our training engages your people and guides you through complex accounting and auditing rules, saving you time, money, and mistakes.
One last thing I wanted to touch on is
Is the last thing already?
I think so.
Damn.
I mean, we try not to go too long. People don't want to look at my face.
Damn, I got pages worth of shit. I can go on all day.
Let's go, Bill.
No, I'm kidding.
Let's go,
I'm just
Bill.
messing with you. I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
No, so I just wanted to touch on your IMDb page. You're a movie actor.
Oh, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, big time movie actor in the movie The Contender with Gil Grisham.
Yeah.
Before his CSI.
And William Peterson, who was the original guy on CSI.
Damn, I didn't even realize it was
People
a CSI
told me I look
sandwich.
like him. Yeah. So he was in that show. He played the governor of Virginia. I do have a great story about that.
Let me hear it.
If we have time.
Let's go. We got time.
So
I
played a news anchor in that.
Nice.
And it was the last scene they were shooting in the movie. They were done, except for this last scene. So Uptown Entertainment was the booking agent that hired the people for this. And I went and auditioned, and they said, no, you have to be a news anchor. You can't have a beard. And I go like, okay, well, I guess I'm out.
Yeah, I'm not shaving this.
Yeah, I'm not shaving. You don't want to see that. I can't remember the lady's name, but anyway, she called me like at 6 o'clock the night before. Said, they're wrapping tomorrow. They got one more scene to do, and the news anchor is sick and he can't do it. Can you be here at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning? And I went, sure. So I called my boss, said, I'm not going to do the show tomorrow, but I'm going to be in a movie, so we'll talk about it on the radio the rest of the week. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine, no problem. So here was at, there was a church over behind Channel 8, is where they shot the scene, on the set, on the news set at Channel 8.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the trailers were and the trucks and everything was there. So I went there, had to be there at 7.
So you were there at 6:45?
I was there at 6.
Cool.
Yeah, whatever.
6.
And, you know, they brought food and everything. So about 8, they come and get me and they say, all right, we're going to take you to wardrobe. And I'd worn a suit and tie. Like I knew I was going to play an anchor. And I went, oh, no, not your suit and tie. So they got me a jacket and changed the tie. They said, and you get a trailer because you have a speaking part.
Nice.
So it was a little bitty trailer, and I walk in, there's fruit tray and everything sitting there. It was nice. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. Nobody came to get me till 5 o'clock. Just sitting there.
A 7-hour day, just sitting.
Just sitting, waiting, and nothing to do. So finally they come and get me and said, all right, we're going over, and you know, we're going to shoot. And then we got to wait till the 6 o'clock news was over so they could use the set. So I said to the girl that came and said, all right, we're going to load up. I said, nobody's brought me any kind of script or anything of what I'm supposed to say. And she went, oh, okay, we'll get that for you. Okay. I said, I'm not an actor.
That's important. I need that.
I said, if it's more than 2 lines, I can't memorize that much. She said, don't worry about it. So we get in the van. It's like, there was like 3 character actors that if you saw them, you'd know their face. They were in 100 movies. And was it Muriel Hemingway was in that movie for like 2 seconds? Oh. She was in the van. Right. I got in the front seat next to the driver. And this big van, holding like 6 people, right?
Did you yell shotgun? That's how you got up there?
The driver is from Richmond. Now I got all these LA movie people, including one of the stars. He goes, holy shit, Bill Bevins! Can I call my wife? Can you talk to her? And all these people in the back are like, who the hell's Bill Bevins? It was hilarious. And I'm like, no, man, it's cool. No, it's fine. Let's just go. No, I'm going to call my wife. So he called his wife. I talked to his wife. And everybody in the back's like,
who's this extra that we got?
Didn't get it. Anyway, I got there, and the director was there, standing in the room. And he says, are you ready to go? I said, nobody's ever given me a script of what I'm supposed to say. He was livid. He kicked over a trash can. He's throwing things at people. He said, this guy's not even a professional actor. He doesn't know what he's supposed to say. Who is supposed to get him? He's yelling at people. And I'm just sitting there. I still don't know what you're saying. So he wrote down a couple of things, said, here, start here and just ad lib and we'll cut the rest. So the first line was, we're talking to the governor of Virginia, blah, 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 blah. Sir, and it was about, if you saw the movie, he ran off a bridge. But anyway, that was that story. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
We run over, folks.
No, and honestly, I was telling them today, I was like, this is production. It's a lot of hurry up and then wait for long periods of time.
At least you didn't have to get here at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Not today.
Okay, cool.
Not today. Yesterday, they had to be there fairly early. What was it, 8:30 yesterday you guys were all here?
Mm.
That's right. We keep a tight ship here.
Working them.
We keep a tight ship.
Yeah.
Anybody in the crew have a question for Mr. Bevins? Speak now, forever. Oh, we got a question. Wait, hold on. Let's get the microphone.
Sonic has a question.
I do.
Okay. I don't have bail money. That's the question. No.
No. You want to tell a story about Miller and Rhodes? You told me a few good stories about the old Miller and Rhodes building when it was popping during Christmas time.
Yeah. So that was a thing in Richmond, and the legendary Santa, which is still around, was at Miller and Rhodes. So Mom would take us down there and, get in line to see Santa. My mom, who was a housewife, she didn't work, she didn't have a job. At Easter, she would go to Miller and Rhodes, and she made decorated these huge chocolate Easter eggs that weighed like 1.5 pounds. And you would write the kid's name on them in the little white frosting stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's what people...
Solid chocolate or hollow chocolate?
Well, it depended. It could be coconut, it could be cream-filled, it could be all kinds of stuff, right? Different Easter eggs.
Okay.
The good news is my mom worked there, and if there was a mistake, she got to keep the eggs.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of misspelled names and stuff?
I got a lot of misspelled names, didn't care.
Nice.
Yeah.
Michael's with K's.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
That's a good, that's a fringe benefit of like a parental job. Yeah, I used to work
forward to Easter, yeah.
I used to work at Sweet Frog, and so I was like always getting frozen yogurt and stuff to take home.
Put it in your pocket.
Oh, no, you definitely put it in a cup. I would suggest putting it in a cup. It will fit in your pocket.
Yeah.
Probably not the best way to get it back out. But no, Rian was pregnant when I was working there, so she'd be like, I need Reese's and caramel today. It's like, all right, I got
to get it.
Yeah, no, the fringe benefits of work.
And the kid turned out great.
He's pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
He grew up on Reese's and boba
Well,
strawberry balls. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mel, I see you're in the spot. You're in the hot seat, Mel.
You got a question, man?
Yes. Have you ever had any career setbacks? And what were they?
Well, I worked in radio, Melvin.
Yeah?
Yeah, so, yeah. But I will say this. I was in radio 48 years, 10 months, and 23 days before I ever got fired. And the saying in radio is there's two kinds of people in radio: people that have been fired and people that are going to be fired.
You were going to be fired.
I was going to be, no, well, I was going to be fired several times and I just left and got out. And the other thing was you keep a cardboard box under your desk and like, oh, they're fired, put it on the box and I quit and I'm out. So I didn't get fired until the very end. Yeah. And then Jess was nice enough to, I asked her, I said, can I just keep doing Virginia This Morning till I make it to 50 years? And that was 3 years ago. Yeah. So, but I was there when they started Virginia This Morning. It was me and Cheryl. So. Yeah, but yeah, you know, I had a situation where I was working at WRNL, and when it was, the format was called MOR, Middle of the Road. It was nothing music. It didn't make anybody happy. But anyway, they were changing the country, and they wanted me to stay, and I went, no, I can't stay. And I took a job in Providence, Rhode Island, at a station. And went up there in August, and the station was awful, and the weather was, I almost froze to death, and nobody understood anything I said. Yeah, and they thought I was a foreigner because of my language and my speech.
You old Southern boy.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of, you know, well, that's a whole different show, Melvin. But thanks for asking. Yeah.
No, you gotta. Sometimes those losses come, and you gotta roll with them. And yeah, this is a crazy industry.
The station went out of business actually, and we ended up burning our furniture in the fireplace to keep from freezing to death.
Rhode Island?
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, the little house we were renting had a fireplace. Good news is I didn't have to bring a whole lot of stuff home, just my clothes. Yeah.
It's because you burned the rest of it.
Yeah, we put it in the fireplace.
Have you ever had any career setbacks? And what were they?
Well, I worked in radio, Melvin.
Yeah?
Yeah, so, duh, yeah. But I will say this. I was in radio 48 years, 10 months, and 23 days before I ever got fired. And the saying in radio is there's two kinds of people in radio: people that have been fired and people that are going to be fired.
You were going to be fired.
I was going to be, no, well, I was going to be fired several times and I just left and got out. And the other thing was you keep a cardboard box under your desk and like, oh, they're fired, put it on the box and I quit and I'm out. So I didn't get fired until the very end.
Well, I really want to thank you for coming out today and sharing your
and
stories.
I want a little badge of being the oldest person you've ever interviewed on this show.
So far.
If you try to get somebody older than me, they'll be dead.
No, not necessarily.
Just bring that corpse in. We got to beat Bill.
Just put a mic on it. Yeah. By a technicality.
Weekend at Bernie's thing going on.
Yeah, no, that'll be fine. We'll interview you next year.
Ah.
And then you'll be the oldest
Okay.
guest. We'll just make it a running
That's
gag.
optimistic. Okay, good.
Well, we did get you a little something for you to take home. Thank you for coming out, sharing your stories
buddy.
and Richmond history.
Well, first of all, thank you for what you do with local musicians and local talent. It is huge, and please keep doing it. And because Richmond is a thing, man. It always has been. When I worked in radio, I'd tell people we have so much talent here. No, we're not playing that. They don't play that in Albuquerque, you know. But things have changed now, so it's better.
Screw
so
Albuquerque.
Thank you for doing that.
No,
Love you,
thank
Albuquerque.
you.
Yeah.
No, it's we sorry, Albuquerque. Yeah, no, we just like sharing Richmond music. It's what we enjoy. It's our passion. So, you know, and when this was kind of starting, when HearRVA was forming, it was right around the time we were hanging out, and I had joked that you wouldn't recognize me outside of this sweatshirt because I was just wearing it every day. And so talking to you, knowing that you were such a great resource of being in radio and TV all those years, I was always trying to like throw ideas towards you just to kind of like see what you thought was a good idea or whatever. So I appreciate your support and enthusiasm the whole time, and I'm glad we were able to get you on for season 2.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we did season 1, and I was like, Bill, look at these photos. I was like, oh, you see what we're doing? You know, trying to impress him slyly. And he's like, yeah, this is really cool. He was like, hey, I would talk to you. And I was like, okay, cool. And I turned around and I was like, and season 2, Bill Bevins. Yeah. And so put that down in pencil, but I appreciate
that
you, Bill.
and a quarter will get you something.
That's right. Yeah. Well, not much now.
No.
Maybe a couple quarters. You rub them together, get a little friction at least.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem. Thank you, Bill. And now we're going to sign off like this ends here, but we're going to still sit in this room and be friends together. Click. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was gonna say. Yeah, we got to do 2 things. 1, if you could say, hello, I'm Bill Bevins on liner notes, and then give me a good clack.
Okay.
And then we're going to take a photo with everybody.
Okay. You ready?
So, yeah, you right into this, Joe?
Am I going to clack first or after when I'm done?
You're not the first person to ask.
Yeah,
so whatever you want.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you got him in the right one?
I
Program
think
or
you do it
preview?
after Bill.
Okay. All right.
Oh, no, thank you.
Hold on 1 second. Go ahead.
All right. Hi, I'm Bill Bevins. Oh, no, it's Bevins. There's no L. Actually, I used to have an L in there, but the Blevins beat the L out of us. I'm Bill Bevins on liner notes. Keep watching.